Good morning. This is business coach Heather Yakes from the great state of Ohio. And today we're going to talk about your most important asset for your business, your team. And most importantly, how to create an amazing team. So I'm going to assume that you have already taken the time to develop a great vision, mission, and culture statement. So we're going to assume that that's already in place. And so what's the next step to creating that amazing team? Step one starts with a good organizational chart. So make sure that you have clearly defined interrelationships between the functions of the business. And be careful not to develop your organizational chart, particularly if you have current team members, based on the people that you have. Make sure that your organizational chart is based on the functions required for the business to work. I also tell my clients to not only create an organizational chart for today, but also create one for a year from now and 3 years from now, so that you can understand the progression of how your business is going to change and how the team needs to change to support that business. So that's strategy number one. Strategy number two is make sure you have a good, clear, clean job description and an updated job description. Oftentimes when I hear complaints from clients that I just haven't found the right team member, or the team member that I have is not working out, the first question that I'll ask is, let me see your job description. And as you can imagine, the first response I get is, we don't have one. Well, if you do not have a job description, how does the individual know exactly what they're required to do and how they're required to do it? So make sure that that job description includes clear roles and responsibilities, who they report to, any standards related to that function, like must answer the phone within so many rings, must process invoices within so many hours, and things like that. Also, it needs to include clear KPIs, clear key performance indicators, okay? Make sure that there are 3 to 5 key performance indicators that tell you that that job function is performing to the expectations of the business. The third strategy is make sure that once you have a good org chart, a good job description, that if you're going out and hiring for that position, that you create an excellent advertisement for recruiting. So that ad needs to be enticing, it needs to have a great headline and some key points that reflect the culture of your business. Make sure that that ad is also targeting the right type of individual that you want. So for example, if you want somebody that's very upbeat, that's very creative, then you definitely don't want to highlight the parts of the job that may be very routine. So make sure that you have a great enticing headline, that you recognize the culture of your business and that you put that out there in that advertisement. Strategy number 4, recruiting. So make sure in your recruiting that you think about the ideal candidate, not just in terms of skill set, but most importantly in terms of culture. Will they be a good culture fit for the team? And so when you think about those characteristics of that team member, think about where those people are. Where do they hang out? Where can you get direct access to them to target your recruiting efforts? You know, it used to be as simple as just putting an ad in the paper, putting the name of your company, the address, and the name of the job. It doesn't work that way anymore. In this competitive work environment, you have to be creating not only with your ad, but also your recruiting, and be very targeted in terms of where you're looking to find those people. Strategy number 5, once you find that ideal candidate, then it comes to onboarding and training that candidate. Make sure that you think well ahead of time what the process is for getting that person on board, getting them trained and up to speed, not just with the skill sets that are required for that job function, but also how they can fit best within the existing team. So you should have a plan what are they going to do in the first hour that they get there? What are they going to do in the first day, the first week, the first month, the first quarter, and the first year? Be very clear on what they need to learn. And I always encourage just actually create a checklist. So here are the things that they need to learn at each of those time frames. And most importantly, I encourage you to go back once you've taught them something. Go back 3 months later and go through that checklist again. Because statistically in training, we only retain about 10% of what we're taught, especially when we're drinking from the fire hose in the first week of a job. So it's very important to go back and repeat and check that they know and are following everything that you've taught them. Strategy number 6, performance reviews. So there was a recent poll done by Gallup and also Deloitte Consulting that says that the millennials are now the biggest portion of the labor force. And that study also says that they prefer continuous performance reviews. So do not hesitate, not only to give positive feedback, but also what are the things that candidate could do better. Particularly when you're bringing on a new team member, you want to make sure that they have continuous feedback so they know what they're doing well and what they could do better. It can be as simple as that. But I would also encourage a more formal review at 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then you can go from there to more of a semi-annual or annual review process. And then the last strategy, number 7, make sure you celebrate with your team. Take the time to enjoy the highs of the business. That way, it's a lot easier to go through the lows of the business. Every business has highs and lows. So make sure that you celebrate, recognize that team, and it doesn't always have to be about money. Sometimes it can just simply be a pat on the back and telling them that you appreciate them. So there are 7 key strategies to an amazing team.